was, you can look at the offensive line a little closer than, for example. So what did you see?
Well, you just go through and when you go live, especially there at the end, you get a chance to see how everybody finishes. Because a lot of times when you're thudding up or going tag tempo, you don't get to see that part of it. Both sides, you get to see tackling in space. You get to see guys staying on blocks up front. So just still, it's been such a long time since we've been out there that it looks a little bit rusty. I thought at times we weren't staying on blocks up front on the O-line. I thought some guys had some bad fits on defense, but I thought the running backs ran really hard. I thought that's a positive sign. But bottom line is it was just a good day. A lot of competition, went back and forth, and which is what you want. So it was good. A lot of positives.
So the defense was running a few minutes ago. Is that
didn't get our takeaway goal. Yeah, we got takeaway goals every day, and we've been really doing really good at that the last two practices, but didn't get any today, and had to have the consequences for that. It's just a big part of our culture here, and the guys know it, and that's why they're fighting and clawing and scratching to get those takeaways. But we all got to run together, so that's why I'm breathing hard right now.
Is this the first time they've run?
No, but this is the most we've run. I always try and find a way to run them. But there was once this week where they got their goal, and I tried to get it to where they may have lost a couple, but they finished well, so they didn't have to run the other day.
Is that goal a moving target, or is that kind of?
It bases on how many periods we have, so where they have opportunities to get those takeaways. So it really is never more than 5. It's usually anywhere from 3 to 5.
So have you ever contrived any sort of mechanism to have the offensive staff run?
Well, they do. If they turn the ball over, so I run with them. I run with either side. Whoever has to run, I run with them. So the offense had to run twice already during these practices. The days the defense got their goal, and they didn't, obviously. So I'm going to be running every day, pretty much. But that's part of the deal.
I think you've got at least 50 guys on this roster right now who have at least 3 years of experience left to play. I mean, there's a lot of youth here. How does that kind of affect just the whole spring?
Well, it's caused us to be a little slower in our install. A lot of teaching, just trying to overemphasize. Fundamentals are always a big part of spring ball, but with this many young guys, as you said, there's more young ones coming, in August or in June. So very, very slow install, a lot of emphasis on fundamentals, and that part's I've been pleased with how we stay. Sometimes you say you want to do that, and then you get a little greedy and want to put more stuff in, but we stay true to our goal and try to keep it slow.
I saw that Tigre and Richard Fant stopped by today.
Yeah, it's great to see.
One thing Richard said was that he said John has to talk now. He was talking about Crawford. So talk a little bit about John, what you've seen from him in his spring.
I had a good talk with him about it, and this is just his position demands it as a senior now, and being the only guy back there with all that experience, and so he feels it. I think he knows he has to. So even though he's not naturally a loud guy that likes to talk a lot, he cares about this team, and he knows he has to do that now, and he's doing a great job, and so he's been, I wouldn't say so. I'm not surprised, but he's risen to the expectations for sure.
Jake Robinson too is another guy up front.
Yeah, Jacob has been, and I knew he would talk. He's earned the right to speak because of his performance, and his work ethic has always been there. As he started making more plays, and guys listen better, and that's the case. But yeah, he's another senior leader that we have to have, and it's just you just look at our defense. It's just young guy, which is fun, And so, but it also is going to be some growing pains throughout spring and through the summer. But that's part of it, and we're excited to have the guys we have, and got more guys coming in June, and a lot of guys I think can give some immediate help.
Mike Penix has been a guy that's been singled out early, first weekend. As a guy trying to stop him, what have you seen from him that makes you so excited about this?
Well, decision making has been good, and I think today, as it got live and more pressure, you could tell that it got to him a little bit, which is expected. But so I'd say the biggest thing has been, we knew he had a live arm, we knew he was athletic, but until you get him in your system, making reads, dealing with the protections and how we set all that, and then just progression reads with the ball in his hand is. It's easy to sit in a meeting room and talk about it. It's a lot harder when they're coming at you live. So I just think that he's done a good job with that, and so he'll have good days and bad days, like all freshmen do. But he's been a guy that I have been encouraged by his immediate ability to make plays early on.
How beneficial has it been to have Niles Sykes back out there on the defensive line?
It's big. He just was our leading sack guy 2 years ago, and to lose him at the last second like we did was a big blow, and So I just think that having the twitchiness that he brings and the ability to rush the passer is a huge asset. So great to have him back, and he's obviously rusty right now from being out for over a year, but he'll get that back pretty quick, and we're going to rely on him pretty heavily to pressure that quarterback.
What kind of guidelines have you given the guys for the break?
Well, it's all about choices, and we kind of give them some real-life examples of guys that have not made good choices, and big things. Our coaches, they check in with them, and they know exactly where they're going to be, and they're accountable. But that's that culture you try to create, where they feel accountable to obviously themselves first of all, and then their teammates, and ultimately to the families. They represent them and all that they do, and where they go, and what they do while they're there. And so but as a coach, it's always a nerve-wracking week. You just don't sleep very good till everybody's back and safe.
Now that you've had a few practices to evaluate them, what are your thoughts on your backers and who's kind of stood out in that group?
Yeah, I thought that today, I thought Thomas Allen kind of stepped up, and Mike kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit, Mike McGinnis, and so moved Thomas ahead of him because of that, and made some key plays at critical times in those situations. So I thought that was positive for sure. T.D. Roof, even though he's a guy that's got to sit out this next year, he showed up today, and throughout the whole practice, I thought. So just a tough little guy that just makes plays and really savvy, moxie guy. I also think that Raekwon Jones has kind of stepped up for me, more in communication, getting things set right, and then burst into the football. And Mo Burnham's growing. I got on him a little bit today, but that's kind of part of it. Trying to build mental toughness in those guys, because if they can't handle me, they won't be able to handle Ohio State. But I want to be able to press those guys and make them feel the stress of running the defense, is what it takes to be a backer in our system. And so, but they're growing slowly and surely, and I was pleased today with some of the guys' progress.